Welcome back, my Duelist friends. Casual Duelist here, and it's Monday, so happy Monday, guys. Time to start off the week. And I thought I'd do that with a mono green, block built, tribal built, Spirits of Kamigawa, the original Kamigawa back in like, what was that, 0506-ish time frame. And I figured I'd do the deck profile for you guys. So just real quick, like usual, since it is mono green, I'm going to be playing a lot of forests, and the forests aren't exactly all for the same time period. This was me going into a card shop some time back and picking a bunch of like penny land out. The point of the kicker here is you want 20 forests. 20 forests to play this deck the way that I played it. And again, it was pretty fun, but you guys will see as we start going through this now. So first, I'm going to have a single copy of the Body of Jukai. He is literally just one of the biggest cards I could find for this. He's a 9 cast, 8/5 with Trample, and he has Soul Shift 8. Now, the thing about Soul Shift is it comes in varying degrees, and we're just going to go over the reminder text once. And then remember that the degree is going to depend on the effect. So when this is put in the graveyard from play, we may return target spirit card with converted cost of degree or less from the graveyard back to the hand. So again, once we have him, he's going to give us anything that's converted 8 or less. And again, it ends up being this really cool soul-shifting, cycling type deal. And it really makes the deck fun. One of the couple of maybe non-spirits in this deck was Dosen, the Fallen Leaf. And again, 2/2 on 3. The big payoff here is players can only play spells during their own turns, which means you don't have to worry about negates. Your opponent can't negate your stuff if you already have that boy in play. Next up, I do run a single copy Forked Branch Garami. 4/4 on 5 with Soul Shift 4 twice. So when this one happens, you do Soul Shift twice. You get 2/4 or less from the discard back to the hand. And this is where we start picking up. We start having multiple copies. I will play 3 Gnarled Masses, 3/3 on 3. Again, just basic. It's just here for what it is. We do want to play the Hanakami. We do have 3 copies of that. 1/1 on 1, tap 2, and sacrifice. Return target arcane card from the graveyard to your hand. Once we get into the instants and sorceries, you guys will get this. One of our next legendary creatures, we have the Name, the life aspect, as opposed to the death aspect, which is also a card from that time period. When the life aspect is put into a graveyard from play, we may remove life aspect from the game. If we do, return any number of targeted spirit cards from the graveyard back to the hand. So again, it's just like a full discard back to hand flop, really allowing you to go ahead and just play everybody again. Next up, one of my favorite looking ones, Jugan the Rising Star. Kind of wishing he was in D&D right now, but it is what it is. Flying, 5/5 on 6. When Rising Star is placed in a graveyard from play, you may distribute 5/1/1 counters amongst any number of target creatures. So if you choose 1 target creature, that one can have all 5. If you choose 2, it could be any combination you like. And again, this does allow you to get some pretty strong characters. Next up, we have Kodama of the North Tree. Again, wonderful looking thing. I love it. Definitely feels like something that should be like a challenge rating 12. Maybe not that high. I don't know. It is going to be a 6/4 that casts on 5 with Trample and cannot be the target of spells or abilities. So again, very cool, but again, you're not going to be able to give him the counters. So somebody else will have to get built up. We do run 3 copies of the Loam Dweller Spirit. It's a 2/2 on 2. Whenever you play a spirit or an arcane spell card, you may put a land from the hand into play tapped. Again, I probably should be playing like a 4th copy of this just to make sure that my ratios are proper. Make sure that this gets to the hand as often as possible. Especially since I am playing like 20 land, which is a little uncharacteristic for me. It just works better in this deck. Next up, I am running 2 copies of the Moss Kami. It's a 5/5 trampler on 6. And again, Big monsters tend to come back out, and with the soul shift mechanic, we do get multiple plays of a lot of these. 2 copies of Night Soil Kami. It's a Soul Shift 5. It's going to be a 6/4 that casts on 6. And again, just another beautiful looking character. Just in general, I really did like the spirits of Kamigawa. I thought they were all pretty cool. We are going to play 3 copies of the Promised Kanushi. It's going to be a 1/1 with Soul Shift of 7. So again, this one kind of upsets the whole, I don't want to say the vibe of the deck, but like the whole mechanic seemed to be the higher the mana cost of the character to put in play, the soul shift always had to be like 1 or maybe 2 points lower. And in this case, this is going to allow us to get back some of the larger cards from our discard piles. So again, use it well. We do have 1 copy of the Soil Shaper. It's a 1/1/2. Whenever you play a spirit or arcane spell, target land becomes a 3/3 creature until end of turn. It's still going to be considered a land. And if that land just came into play this turn, it's also going to suffer summoning sickness because it didn't give the land haste. So do keep that in mind while you play that character. I do have a copy of the 1,000-Legged Kami, and again, oh my goodness, this guy would make it like a great miniature to paint. And again, this goes to what I'm saying. It's an 8 cast, 6/6. Cost is 8. It's a Soul Shift 7. So again, kind of shows it off a little bit. Is what it is. We are going to run 3 copies of the Traproot Kami. And this one's going to be a 0 for 1. And the toughness is going to be equal to the number of forests in play. If you guys had every forest in my deck in play, that could be a 0/20. And again, it may block as though it had flying, and it's a defender, so it can never attack. It's essentially like the wall cards without being a wall. And that rounds out our creature spells. Moving into the instants, and no, it looks like I actually separated this. It's instants and sorceries, then enchantments. So first instant we're going to talk about is 2 copies of Kodama's Might, and it is an instant that is arcane. Again, this was a big deal during Kamigawa because you got recycling for arcane, but you also had a splice onto arcane, which is also available on this card. So originally, without using the splice onto arcane effect, this is a just a basic pump, just like Giant Growth. It's going to give you +2 to +2 on 1. With Splice onto Arcane, when you play an arcane spell, you may reveal this additionally, then pay the splice cost to add the effects to the other card. So, to make this real simple, let's say that I had both of these in my hand at the same time. I activate one, I show you the other one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay 2 green now. Okay, 1 for the activation of this spell, 1 for the Splice onto Arcane. 2 target creatures are going to give 2/2. I can target the same creature, that's fine. But I will retain this copy of Kodama's Might in order to just, activate it next. What have you. So it's going to do well. Same thing with Strength of Cedars. This is also going to be an arcane, so those 2 could splice onto one of these. This instant is going to cast on 5. Target creature gets XX until the end of the turn, where X is the number of land you currently control. So again, this can go all the way from, clearly it has to be a 5, to 20 in this deck, and it's not counting splicing those other cards onto it. We're also going to use 2 copies of the Unchecked Growth instant spell, and this one's going to cast in at 3. Target creature gets +4/+4 until the end of the turn, and if it's a spirit, it will also gain trample until the end of the turn. So again, very nice, and you can just patch this together with that other instant. And for an additional 1, we're talking like a 6/6 trample, which is pretty darn nasty. As far as our sorcery spells, we are going to only be playing the Kodama's Reach. We do want to play a full playset. Search library for up to 2 basic land, reveal both, place 1 in play tapped, the other one to hand, shuffle your library afterward. This is how we mana ramp, since the spirits aren't going to do the same as, I do want to say the Orochi, the snakes. I want to say that they were pretty cool. I want to say they were almost like elves. But it's not where the monsters are going to create the mana ramp for us. And then I do run 3 copies of Genju the Cedars to round the deck out. This is an enchantment. You enchant a forest only. Casts in on 1. For 2 mana, Enchanted Forest becomes a 4/4 green spirit creature until the end of the turn. Still is treated as a land. And when Enchanted Forest is put into a graveyard, you may return Genju the Cedars from the graveyard to your hand. So much like in like Yu-Gi-Oh, we have certain equip spells and stuff that can return to the hand when they're destroyed. Genju of Cedars is going to do the same thing as an enchantment. So guys, I hope that you enjoyed this. This was another fun deck that, again, I just haven't had the time to like really play around with in recent years. But again, it's still part of my collection. It shows off part of the growth, part of what I was doing I would say we've been gaming since like 98, playing card games now. So yeah, it's been a bit. It's been a while. But that said, my friends, I do hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, thumbs up, give us a like, give us a comment, let us know how you liked it. Maybe we earned a subscription, maybe we didn't. Either way, I'm going to have a small video coming up in a little bit later today. These 3 Yu-Gi-Oh cards were used for D&D. I finally got the figures painted. They are cleared in. They are how I'm going to play them. So I'm going to do just a quick little video here in a little bit and show you guys what they look like. So, yay. You guys have a lovely day. Hopefully I get to see you guys again tomorrow. You guys have a wonderful time. See you later.